The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests.
What is going on, my Ghost Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode number 272. Today's date is Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. We are live as always on YouTube. So if you're out there in the live chat, go ahead and say something. We don't know that you're out there unless you do. If you're new to the channel, new to the show, I'm sorry, you're not getting your money's back. And honestly, we're just trying to make you any dumber. We know we're not going to make you any smarter. Our goal is to not make you any dumber. Can't guarantee it. It is what it is. If you want to call or text in, yes, you can call and text into the show. Utilize the Ghost Tactical Hotline presented by our good friends Rod and Shelly Gates over at Aegis Gun Care. That number is 530-364-4678. It's scrolling down below. If you're a veteran, really anybody, but especially if you're a veteran and you're in the hole, you're in the darkness, and you're looking for that light, call me, text me, email me 24/7. I cannot give you medical advice, but I probably could be a decent ear to listen and maybe talk you through some stuff. If you are looking to get someone to get you towards some medical attention, remember two things. One, you are not alone in this fight. You have a lot of brothers out here that are willing to help you in any way possible. And two, the world is a much better place with you in it. So please utilize the Veteran Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Once again, 1-800-273-8255. Or you can just from your cell phone dial 988. We are spotlighting, as always, United States Marine Corps. If you have any questions on what it takes to earn the title United States Marine, see the website marines.com. And as always, I need to put that up there. We are a proud member of there it is, Self-Defense Radio Network. So go check out all your favorite pro-gun, pro-2A podcasts over at selfdefenseradio.net. Let's get this off of my ugly mug and bring in the hapless crew that's going to be here tonight. A lot of fun faces out there. A lot of people that look really engaged. They're probably bored out of their minds, but it is what it is. All the way from the only state in the union that takes two people to spell a four-letter word, from the great state, I guess it's a great state, everyone says it is, of Ohio, Chris from the 740. What's up, homie?
Not much, man. Thank you for the link. Glad to be here. Look forward to it all day.
Then you must have one boring hell of a day. If this is what you're looking forward to.
Hey, better being at work.
No, this is true. I'll give you that much. From the wild west of Arizona with True Shot Gun Club. What's up, John?
What's up? My shirt today says Buddy the Elf. What's your favorite caliber? So
nice.
Got to make sure we get some ammo questions out there tonight.
We're definitely going to get some ammo questions out there. Real quick, in case people haven't realized, I wanted to bring it up last week and I never did. Pretty impressive patch panel you got going on back there. How long have you been working on that bad boy?
I've been in this industry for 10 years. So
you've been starting
a little bit while.
Have you always enjoyed the patch game, I guess?
Oh, yeah. I've loved the patch game. I've been, there's some of Jake's patches from Patriot Patch. Love him. I've got the whole top panel is over here is Night Vision. Love those guys. Ghost, you're right here. Right below them is Ghost. If you can't see it right there, there's your patch.
I kind of see the outline. Clover is like in the corner. You put Baby in the corner, didn't you?
Well, Clover's here, and then Gunsnob Ass. He's in this back corner right there. He's up there, right?
He's off camera, right?
He's off camera. Yeah.
Fantastic. So, that's all I care about.
No, I think there's like 670 patches up there right now and growing.
Holy cow. And shots just around the corner, so you're only going to get another about 150 then.
If I go up the ceiling, I think my wife might kill me. So we're going to build this out. This whole room's going to be
here's what I think that you should make an addition to the house and just call it the patch panel. Like the only addition that you're using it for is patches. I think she'd really get a kick out of that.
Oh yeah, no, when I took this room as my office, it became the patch panel and gun wall,
Yeah.
and this
Everything
is
else.
yes. I mean, who else? I mean, okay, probably Eric from IBD has a more impressive patch panel than I do, but who else do you know has such a massive patch panel right now?
You know, that's impressive. G's got a pretty decent one. But yeah, that's definitely a top 3 patch panel faux show. So yeah, congrats on that. That's kind of
That's how you know you made it in this industry.
well, the fact that you know exactly what the number is kind of scares me. I'm just saying.
I don't ask questions.
All right. Speaking of the little bitch that could, from the great state of Texas, the tactical leprechaun himself. He's saying if I put all my patch panels together, mine would be bigger. See, Clover, here's the thing. Clover's going to one up you. He can't help himself. That's just the way he is, man. Oh, hey, Clover, what's going on?
But I'm not going to put them together, so I'm out of the running. So I'll let somebody else take that honor. I'm okay with it. I'm just saying. You will rue the day I decide to put all mine together. It will happen.
Challenge accepted.
I think that's a challenge. You should.
How big are each of those panels that you have? Just curious.
They're 24 by 18, I think.
Okay.
That's an 8-foot wall, so it's 8 feet tall.
So your goal was to fill that entire wall up eventually, I'm assuming.
Yeah, this wall is going to be completely filled and hopefully to the ceiling by the end of SHOT Show.
I'll tell you
the ceiling panel.
So you know Ava, right, John? Up in Colorado.
Yeah, I know Ava.
Dragon Man. Her patch panel is pretty. It's up there.
I think the only person that can beat Ava is, and I said Eric earlier. I'm pretty sure Brandy's got a better patch panel than all of us. I'm just gonna say it.
Well, I mean, how many of Brandy's came from Eric, though? Let's be honest. You know, like it might be her patch panel, but I'm sure he got most of those patches probably over the years. Maybe, I don't know. You never know.
I don't know. Who knows? Brandy is a patch queen. I will say that.
You've got no dupes, right, John?
No, there's no dupes up there.
Variations, of course, but no dupes.
There's variations, but no duplicates.
Wow. Well, I know that you'll be getting a new one from me because my 2023 patches are here, so I'll be giving you one at SHOT. So throw that up there. You can throw that off screen also. You know, put it by Snob, so like we put us in the corner. It's all good. All right, let's run through the panel, the crowd real quick and say hello, and we'll get going. Chris says first. He's in here also. He was first in here. I think he almost beat me in here. I think I got this thing kicked and running, then had to go do some stuff, and I came in and he was here. I was like, oh, he beat me to it. Buck's out there, the tactical FUD. What's up, Buck? Woods is out there. Guy Nall. Hey, dude, Guy, how you doing? This is Hi All. Let's see here. Gizzard Gary, the recently retired. I mean, hell, he's 193 years old. He needed to retire, but I mean, this is the only guy that went to high school with Lincoln and still working. So, I mean, congratulations for Gary finally retiring. Good to see you. Enjoying retired life, my man. Tim's out there. What's going on? And my buddy Robbie spoke for, I don't know, a while today on the phone. It was good to talk to Rod. He says, what the hell is going on in here? I really wish it was Shelly. I like Shelly a hell of a lot more, but I'll take Rod. He's a cool guy. Mr. Everything. Bang, bang, bang. Dude, I'm not going to lie, bro. That's a pretty tough name to back up. You say you're Mr. Everything. You better be pretty confident in your skills in everything. Saying you're Mr. Everything, but that's kind of a cool name. I'm liking it. Why? Because Illinois doesn't want us to buy them. Oh, we're talking about the title. Why we buy our guns. So we're going to talk about that, but it's kind of go a little bit differently than what you think. We're going to talk about like the reason why a lot of the gun purchases that we make, like, do we buy them for a specific need or because they're good deals? Overall, why we're purchasing guns. And I think probably everyone in this room and everyone on the chat will probably say it's evolved over the years. At first you just wanted to buy as many guns as you could because you like guns. And then you start, I got enough now. Now I need to start being picky, buying them for specific reasons or they're good deals. we know Clover won't buy a gun unless he's ripping somebody off, but that's just the way he is. But it's one of those things. Calico Jack's out there. Howdy, sir. Howdy.
Jealous.
Hey, I never said I wasn't jealous, but I mean, there's no reason to have some of the guns that you have. Like, it's way too fetish at your house. I mean, like, you need to put your gun room in a bubble so that no one gets allergic reactions to the vibe that's coming off of your gun room. Just saying.
Okay.
It is what it is. Guy says, eat crayons, be a Marine. We can probably do that. Chicago Mike, what up, homie? Good to see him out there. The biggest yellow belly in the West. That's funny. Pat in a bunker. I mean, I don't know how he's getting to us. If he's in a bunker, maybe he's got good internet service in a bunker, but most of the time bunkers don't have very good reception. But maybe he's out of the bunker and hadn't changed his name. He needs to call himself, like, he needs to say Pat out of a bunker when he's out of the bunker, and then change it to Pat in a bunker when he is. He's got
a wire, I heard, that runs from his sat phone to the dish that's actually outside the bunker.
See, well, I mean, here's the thing though, is it actual internet service, or is someone like on an exercise bike in the bunker trying to get electricity to him? I don't know.
Well, I think it's he eats. A lot of people don't know this, right? But because he stays in the bunker, he has to raise his own food. And what he eats is guinea pigs, believe it or not. He says they taste like chicken. I'm going to take his word for it. I've never had it. And they're on the wheel, so when they get big enough to eat, you know what I'm saying? They get all beefed up by running on a wheel, get all muscled up, and that makes them really good to eat. That's what he says anyway. Yeah.
I have a question. Is that the Great Gatsholio? Is that what we're calling that picture there? Because that is cornholio on a Gadsden flag.
It is cornholio.
Are you threatening me, John? Are you threatening me?
Yes.
I am Cornholio. I need TV for my bunghole. Yes, that is Cornholio right there. Yes. I never even noticed that was his avatar, but that's pretty badass. Then we got the best avatar in the world, the Tactical Snowman. What's up, Smeggy? He is out there. Isn't that the greatest avatar you've ever seen in your life? And he's had that forever. And I've offered to make him like logos back in the past. And you know what? I don't want to make you a logo because that is the greatest avatar in the history of YouTube right there. The Tactical Snowman. Pretty cool stuff right there. Let's see. Let's go down here. Michael Dunn says, hello, Chris. Nice video today. How was the Thompson? So you want to address that real quick?
Yeah, Sunday we got invited to go to the Bullet Ranch down south of us, and they had us come after they closed and let us shoot a bunch of their full autos down there. I had never shot a Thompson, so that was one of the ones I picked. And, got away from me a little bit. When I was sitting there holding it in the gun vault, I was like, it's got that metal on the back of the stock, and I'm like, this thing's going to be slippery. And I got to about the last 10 rounds in the mag air, and she started sliding down the shoulder a little bit. We didn't shoot any lights out.
It can get a little hairy when that happens, just saying.
Yeah.
Chris, what kind of Thompson was it? Did it have the Tommy, like the gangster front? I missed the video. Did it have the gangster front?
The foregrip? The grip?
It didn't have the foregrip. It was a 1928. The problem was he told me when I first got there, he goes, I don't think we can shoot it because I guess they had a machine gun party and they burned through all their 45 ACP. Well, they ended up finding a box that had 30 rounds in it. So
that's all you need.
He's like, I can't let you run the drum mag because I don't have enough to fill it, but you can run the stick. So it was cool.
You could have run the drum mag, it just wouldn't be full.
Right.
You know.
So it got away from me a little bit in that video, but
it's all good. It's all good. Clover talking about, so Clover put out a video in response to my worst shotgun video on YouTube ever made that came out a week or so ago. Clover put out his worst AR-15 review video on YouTube ever. If you didn't go check that out, it's pretty damn funny. But he's saying you got to weld that barrel extension piece because the 5.56 is so powerful. That only makes sense if you've seen that video. That's a true story. That powerful 5.56. You know, some people that we know have once claimed that a 5.56 was armor piercing.
And that the AR-15 weighs as much as like 10 boxes.
Yes, this is true. And he also used a Trout for a muzzle brake. So, you know.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, that's true.
Take that for what it's worth.
That was a 308 though. That was AR-10, wasn't it?
It was an AR-10, yes.
Yeah.
He also hip fired an AK from about 10 feet and didn't hit shit. So that's scary. People that have been around that channel long enough know who we're talking about. I don't want to bring his name up because I don't want to embarrass a guy, but it is what it is. Michael Dunn says, I started a YouTube patch wall too with all my subs. Got 36 to 101 already. Nice. Let me go down here, make sure I'm not missing anybody. Snob's out there. What's up, Snob? Sam of Anarchy's out there. What's going on? Merry Christmas, Sam. I think that might be. Snob just says, I'm just glad Clover woke up this time for the show. Poor G-Webs. Yeah, G-Webs was like, he didn't know what to do this morning. Usually on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock in the morning Central Time, which is the only time zone, the real time zone, they have a little SHOT Show Academy type thing. They had different SHOT Show for like, especially for first timers and all that. Rolls around, it's 9:15 and we're all waiting. Clover's not there. 9:30. I'm calling Clover. I'm texting Clover, making sure everything's okay. Because, you know, Clover is kind of like Pincus. He's kind of a camera whore. And he doesn't miss many opportunities to be on camera with someone. And the fact that he was half an hour late for G, and it turns 10 o'clock and 10:15. And, yeah, you know, he overslept a little bit. And that's okay. We'll give you some time to talk about that. I'm sure you want to.
Overslept means that you had some intention of getting up.
Yeah, you had no intention of getting up. Correct. What you're saying.
Correct.
Okay. Well, that's fair. I just wish you would have notified G-Webs because G was like going, he was like having a conniption.
Well, and I'm sure you wished he would have notified you when he left you at the range like 3 times in one day.
3 times in one day. Yeah. John, did you ever hear that story?
I bet I will hear it now. I've never heard this.
I love telling this story because I love throwing G under the bus. So this is SHOT Show. Damn, is it 2020, 2019, 2020? One of those. I think it was 2020. And we're at range day, and I'm getting ready to go over to the ATAC range day. Like, we're going to go over there about 11 or so, do that for a couple hours, and then head over to the SIG range day. And so there's about 4 or 5 of us going, and I don't have a car. So I asked Jay, hey, can I ride with you to ATAC? And he's like, absolutely not a problem. So, all right, we'll meet at the entrance of range day, like 11 o'clock. He's like, sounds good. So about 10:45, I'm up on top of the hill at range day, trying to find a signal at all to like, let them know that I'm on my way. You know, you can't find a signal unless you just get lucky at range day. I finally get a signal up there by the long range guys. I said, hey, G, it's about 10:45. I said, hey, I'm getting ready to start heading down to the front. Where do you want to meet? He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm getting ready to head down because we're going to head to ITAC. And he's like, I already left, bro. I left like 10 minutes ago. I'm like, dude, you were my ride. And he was like, I totally forgot. I'm sorry. Like, well, could you come back? He's like, no, I'm like already on the highway. I'm like, okay. So I called Jeff over at Gear Report. I said, hey, have y'all left for the range? And he's like, no, we're still here. He's like, okay, can I ride with you guys? And he's like, I've got 5 guys already in a 4-seat car, but yeah, you can ride on someone's lap if you want. Hey, dude, that's fine. I don't care. So we jump in. I'm riding on someone's lap all the way out to that range out there. I think it was at Nellis is where it was. And we get out there. We're there for about an hour. I see G and said, G, what the hell? You left me. He's like, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't remember. It's like, okay. And so I said, all right, we'll be here for about an hour and a half. And he's like, yeah, I'll be hanging around. I was like, okay. So about an hour later, I called G and said, hey, you ready to head over to SIG? And he's like, I already left. I'm like, dude, that's like, what? Come on, man. Like, just send me a text before you leave and say, hey, I'm getting ready to leave. I'm already gone. So once again, now I'm riding bitch again with Gear Report guys over to SIG range day. We get over to SIG. And before we get up to SIG, like about maybe a mile or so before you pull in to the range, there's like I don't know if you ever remembered, but it's like an old, I don't know, abandoned warehouse on the right-hand side, just in the middle of nowhere. Have you ever seen that? The warehouse out there?
Is that over at Pro Gun?
No, this is up north where the SIG range day is, or it was. But there's a warehouse, about a mile before you pull in. There's a warehouse on the right, and it's just an abandoned warehouse, and it's got like the parking area, but it's all gravel now because it's all just grown over and all that. So as we're driving by, all of a sudden here, holy shit, there's G, and G's in his van just doing donuts in the driveway. He left me to do donuts, and we're like, hey, G saying this is not a real story at all. Oh, this is 100%. He said it was at the Clark County range. There it was. But he's doing donuts. We're asking him, why the hell are you doing donuts? He says, well, I had my dash cam. I wanted to get some really cool dash cam footage. And he's just out there in the middle of nowhere donutting it up. He says, I was filming, waiting for him. Yeah, you didn't wait on me to take me out there, bro. So the whole funny story is G left me 3 separate times. And then he left SIG. So I had to ride back with Jeff and them back to their condo. G abandoned me 3 times in one day. 3 times in one day. And he says, I didn't totally forget. I told you Mello was freaking out. So there's always a different story. But no, that's what makes those days fun. It's all about the stories, man. No, like I don't remember all the guns that I shoot. It's the stories, and the stories of being left at the range 3 times in one day is a good one. It's one of my favorite stories to tell now.
I feel like you've tried to abandon Clover somewhere 3 times in one day. It just doesn't work.
Dude, I do, but like I even give him, like today, I gave him a link to a show like a month ago. The dude still knows how to show up and figure out how to get in here on the right one. I sent him the wrong links and he still shows up. It's what it is, but no, it's I try to ditch Clover as much as I can. Oh, John.
Sorry, we're currently having technical difficulties.
So here's the problem is, I don't know, it was a few months ago. I don't know what it was. Something happened and I had to jump off. I had a call that I had to take right in the middle of the show. That was one of those things and all that. So I gave Clover the power to my live stream where he could like bring people in and out. I have yet to take the power away from him, and he enjoys abusing that power sometimes. He does.
Yes, he does.
Now G says the only one that Mello can deal is at Pro Gun. Yeah, that's true, because you do park like a mile down the road from the actual range. So I figure she probably could handle range day if you park. Well, he likes to park up front though. So yeah, he's probably pretty close to where she can still hear the firing line. But yeah, Pro Gun, you park down there by the old factory down there. So it's a good hike up to the range. So I get it.
Hey, Chris, have you ever heard the story about that factory at Pro Gun?
No.
It was a PMC factory.
Yeah, and it's now like they turned it into like a shoot house or something, didn't they?
Yeah, it was the old PMC USA factory.
Yeah, that was like their original factory, right?
Yeah, before they
moved. I don't remember which brand it was. I can't remember which brand it was, but yeah, I remember hearing a story a couple of years ago at one of the Interi shoots, and they were talking about it was a factory and they turned it into a shoot house. But yeah, I didn't know what brand it was. Sam says, "Holy patch wall, Batman." Yeah, we just talked about that. What's up, Gabriel? Before we get going, Clove, we haven't gone through a shotgun of the week. What's the shotgun of the week this time?
Let's go to Browning side lock. Side-by-side Browning shotgun. How can you go wrong with that?
Because it's a shotgun. That's how you can go wrong with it.
Okay. It's your opinion.
In my opinion. Which doesn't mean much. My opinion doesn't mean much at all. But yeah. So a Browning, what is it called?
Browning side lock.
Side lock. There you go. Awesome. All right. Well, you guys know that every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday over in our YouTube community tab, we go through our Ghost Tactical polls and we have a little fun with them. So let's go. The first one, 1.8 thousand votes. Would you rather have Christmas, A, in the snow, B, at a beach, or bah humbug? Chris, snow, beach or bah humbug?
At the beach.
At the beach. Says the guy who lives in Ohio. You probably want to get away from cold, don't you?
Yeah, we've spent Christmas in Florida a few times.
Yep. See, I grew up in Dallas, and we spent Christmas in Colorado or Utah a lot skiing. So I guess now John's probably going to say the snow because being in Arizona. Well, you also lived in Ohio, so you've had a little bit of both. Do you prefer snow, beach, or just bah humbug it?
I would have to say the beach, but I am flying back to Cleveland Friday, and it's supposed to be -30. So I guess I will have a white Christmas.
Yeah, I was telling Chris, I saw something because it's supposed to get down like Thursday. The high here is like 43, but that's at 6:00 in the morning, and it dramatically drops. It gets down to -1 here in Arkansas. And -1's pretty cold, but I saw somewhere that Wyoming's expecting to have -70 degrees. I was like, oh my God. Like, at what point does it stop being like, is it 0 or what is that point where it doesn't matter whether it's 0 or -70? It's all the same at that point. Is it 0 or what?
So I just checked the weather. So what we were talking about in the back chat about that drop, we're supposed to go on Thursday from 40 degrees to 2 degrees.
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's a weird, like 40 something degree drop. That's just nuts.
Imagine leaving Phoenix where it's 65, 70 and flying to Ohio where it's going to be 2 and then wind chill of 30, -30. So it's
what you're saying is you're not bringing
wind.
the Crocs and the t-shirts. You're actually going to bring some clothes, right?
I made a deal with myself when I moved to Arizona. No matter how cold it is, I'm wearing shorts. And there's been one time this year I put on actual pants when it was snowing up at Gunsight.
Well, here's a good thing. When it gets to -30, are you really leaving the house anyways? Let's be honest. You're probably not leaving the house anyways.
I don't want to leave the house, but the mother-in-law wants me to leave the house.
Got to keep mom-in-law happy.
You got to keep her happy.
Now, Pat says it's -55 with the wind chill here, 74 inside the bunker. So, Clover, beach, snow, or bah humbug?
So, as long as the snow doesn't come with ice, you can keep the ice, right? Snow.
I love snow. I do not like ice.
Yeah, no.
Ice wins all the time. I don't care what you have. Ice is going to win that battle all day, every day.
Well, I'm not going ice. As long as there's no ice involved, I'll take the snow. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. Row call says we don't have to be sent to Siberia now. That's true. Right. We're going to have our own Siberia.
House arrest.
Yeah, right. 1.8 thousand votes, 69, great round number, says snow. And 16% ties for at the beach and bah humbug. So there's that one. The next one has, where'd it go? There it goes. 1.3 thousand votes. What kind of Christmas tree do you have? A real tree, a fake tree, or an ugly / no tree? When I say ugly, it's like the old broken down Charlie Brown looking like no leaves on it, just branches. And you hang I actually bought one of those a long time ago because I forgot to get a Christmas tree before my wife and daughter came up. I had moved here before my wife and daughter, and I totally forgotten to get a Christmas tree until about 2 days prior to Christmas. It's like, oh, snap. Went to the place, and they had like these pieces that are just like the leftover, like that fell off. I was like, oh, I'll take it. Hung the ornaments on the branches, nothing on the trees at all. But Clover, real tree, fake tree, or ugly / no tree?
Man, so now no tree.
Sure.
Back, having family, kids, and all of that. A fake tree for sure. I mean, dealing with a real tree sucks, and I've seen my share of house fires because of real trees. So don't have that problem nearly as bad with let me back up. You don't have that problem nearly bad with a real tree if you know how to take care of that real tree. But most people don't. They bring it in, put it up, and they don't understand the process.
Well, and they also think that, you can put a little bit of water in there and think that they never had to really put more water in it. And
yeah, it'll dry out quick. You got to watch the lights. Of course, nowadays with LED lights, like the vast majority of lights are LED, and they don't burn nearly as hot. And so
but those old lights, man, you were just waiting between the tinsel and the dried up. Yeah, you're waiting for a fire to happen. Yeah. Chris, real tree, fake tree, no tree.
We have a fake tree.
Now, here's a question. Do you keep it decorated all year long and put it in the basement or the attic and then just bring it out and not have to put the ornaments on it? Or do you have to take all the ornaments off every year?
I don't do any of it, but the wife does. But yeah, she puts it up right after Thanksgiving, and then it'll come down normally on New Year's Day.
Okay, so you take the ornaments and everything off of it.
Yeah.
See, if I had a fake tree, I think I'd leave all the decorations on it and just put it like in the attic or something. So where all I got to do is pull it down, and all I got to do is plug it in. That's how I would do it if I had a fake tree.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Now, Buck says I have a fake tree. Buck says I have a fake tree, but I think it needs water. The needles keep falling off. That's a different issue. That's called a very cheap fake tree.
You could go with a Christmas bonsai tree, and then you wouldn't have to mess with it.
Just keep it up year round. Yeah, put it up year round.
Yeah.
I can't confirm nor deny the fact that growing up, there's a chance that a tree might have been up year round. Just saying. I don't know. For a year or two, just stayed there. Why? I don't know, but it did. John, fake tree, real tree, no tree.
I gotta go fake tree. The real trees make me sneeze. So,
are you allergic, or is it just they make you sneeze? Okay, so you actually have an allergy to them.
Yeah, I've got an allergy to the real trees. But you're talking about putting it away. We put ours away, but my grandmother-in-law keeps her in the basement and throws a sheet over it and then pulls the sheet off every year.
Hey, it's just called being efficient. Some people say it's lazy. I think it's just being efficient. That's what I'm going to go with. That's what I'm going to go with. I saw something up here that I wanted to mention before I move on to the last one. I can't remember who it was, but someone asked how I liked the Gerson 1911, and I can't remember who it was, where it was. I can't find it anymore, so I'm sorry. Loving that thing so far. Chicago Mike. Okay. That little 9mm 1911 is pretty badass. Really, really digging. I've only put a box of ammo through it so far, so I only got 50 rounds in it. But so far, yeah, man, it's really nice. Now I've only been waiting for it for 2 years, so I was a little worried that my expectations and might be too high waiting 2 years for this thing to come out, but no, it lived up to it. So I'm looking forward to that. Might be having something from Gerson come in pretty soon. That there might be a collab with Clover on eventually, but we'll talk about that when it actually happens. But yeah, guys, and I'm not on the payroll of Gerson. They are good friends of mine, but that has nothing to do. I'm telling you guys, if you are looking for, Gerson is putting out some phenomenal stuff right now. So they've got the High Point clones that are out. The 1911s are great. The Regard, which is basically a 92, but like better than a 92. And then the like I said, the high powers came out. But yeah, the 1911s are great. And like mine's a little subcompact 9mm one, but it's got an optic on it, which I'm not an optic guy on pistols. I don't like them. But I'm going to use it for a while until I get used to it and see how I like it. And I guess it's not bad. It's just, for me, it's just weird. Like I'm not used to looking through a dot on a pistol. But yeah, a lot of people say, huh?
I'm really glad you corrected yourself. You said High Point first, and John Browning rolled in his gray for a little bit.
Did I say High Point? High power. Yeah. Power. My bad. Freudian slip? Maybe not. I don't know. No, the high power clones are the P35. Great. Yeah. Do you guys use dots on your pistols? Now, Chris, you probably use one on your race gun, don't you?
I pretty much use dots on everything now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I love dots, but I don't love them on pistols. I never have really liked them, but I'm gonna give it a chance. A lot of people say like once you get used to them, you'll never go back to irons. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. John Clover, dots on pistols, yay, nay, indifferent?
I didn't like it at first, and now I'm starting to enjoy it. Through testing things, and people are sending things with dots on them anyways. So you start testing. Now I'm starting to really enjoy them. I wasn't a big fan at first, but now it's kind of like it's there. It's a thing.
Yeah. I will say this. If you've never shot a pistol with a dot on there, you're accustomed to how you present your gun. And if you're not used to having a dot, the first time you're going to have to like search for that dot a little bit. But I guess that's not a bad thing. If you can eventually get good mechanics where that dot pops up every time, you're being consistent with your presentation. I guess that could be a good training factor. It's just, for me, it's just weird having a dot on a pistol. But like I said, this came with a dot, so I'm going to use it for a while, test it out. And, who knows how I might like it, but I don't know. Chloe, what about you? Dots on pistols, yay, nay, indifferent?
I don't care for them. I mean, not at this point. I mean, if my mind gets changed later on, it gets changed. But,
that's right.
I tend to lean more to the not than having one.
Yeah. Now, as we get older, maybe that changes. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I mean, they have specific. I have specific ones that I do run a dot on, but it's more of a competition thing, or hunting, or it's some of that type thing.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Sam says if it gets too icy where you guys are, you have them. Just put down salt. Oh yeah, we've got like the salt and the kitty litter. You can put down a mixture of kitty litter and salt. It usually works pretty good, because when my dad had a stroke a few years back, brought him to the house and we built a ramp, and it's a nice wood ramp, but that thing gets slick. So we'll put salt on that for sure. If it gets icy to the point where we have to worry about ice or salting our driveway, we live on a big mountain and a big hill, and our driveway is like that. And then we have to go up and down other hills. We're not getting out of the house. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's the same way here. Like, it wouldn't do me any good to salt my driveway. First of all, I'd hate to even see how much salt it would take. And I'm not real sure what salt does on dirt either, but probably not too well. But even if I was to do that and get out my driveway, like, no other road between here and anywhere else is going to have salt on it. So it's like, where are you going? Even if you can't get out of your drive. So having a 4-wheel drive, that's about the only way you're getting around here.
It's pretty funny because we live up here in the top of the mountain, and most of the town's down in the valley below, and it's probably 2 or 3 degrees cooler where I live versus downtown. So it might be like, not doing much, but where we live in our community up here, like, we might have like a foot of snow where they might have an inch of snow down there. Well, it takes like 3 or 4 days. Like, by the time everyone else in town's like back on the roads and all that, on the highways, like in our community, it's still got a foot of snow. So like, we're stuck in our house for like at least 2 or 3 more days on average than everyone else out in town. So it's once we know that the weather's coming, we hunker down and we actually enjoy it. But yeah. Our last poll. 60%, 1.3 thousand votes. 60% say fake tree. 21% say ugly or no tree. Only 19% say a real tree. We did real tree for a long time here at our house. We had gone to a fake tree for a little while, that ended up going back to real trees for a while. Now my daughter's 26, whatever. We don't do trees anymore, so that's what it is. Anyways, all right, so we'll get rid of those. And then our last poll, I'm a little disheartened with this. Most of my polls, we get well over 1,000 votes. I put a poll out there about what people want to see with my channel in 2023, and it's only got 732 votes. That's a little disheartening. I think people care about my channel. I think they just like voting in the polls, but they don't vote on a poll that I'm actually asking for their opinion. So, whatever. I said, what type of content would you like to see more of in 2023? Gun reviews, gear and accessory reviews, fun videos, podcasts, or other. I'm not going to ask you guys because y'all don't give a shit and don't watch my channel anyways, but 64% of the viewers say gun reviews, 19% say gear and accessory reviews, 11% say fun videos like parodies and stuff like that. We have a good time with doing those. 4% say podcasts and 2% say other. We did get a lot of write-in votes, and I used to do what we call the drill of the month. And I did that for about a year or two, back like 2017 all the way to about middle of summer of 2019. Did a drill every month and had a little competition. And the whole idea was to get people one to the range. We give them a drill. I mean, dot torture or bill drill or, Mozambique, whatever the drill that month was. We printed out a target on an 8.5 by 11. They could print out for free and then go do the drill and all that. It did two things. One, to get people to the range and shoot. But two, we were also saying, look, videotape you doing the drill, post it on YouTube and tag us, whatever, trying to get more people to turn their cameras on. Ran its course after about 2 years, couldn't do it a lot anymore. And then now everybody wants it back. So probably starting in 2023, we might bring back a little different twist, a little different flavor to the drill a month. Might be looking maybe like the little sponsor or something like that for drill of the month, where they give whatever, something to the winner out every month, whatever it is. But we're probably going to be bringing back drill of the month in 2023. I kind of do miss in it, but we always have fun doing drills. More importantly, I've got a really good catalog of targets you can just print out, and they're there. People to go to the range and print out a target and ready to go. But that's what we're going to do with that. All right. So enough of this crazy shit. People are like, what the hell are we talking about? We're not talking about anything yet. The topic for tonight is, why do we buy the guns that we buy? And I know it may sound like a weird question, but, like I said earlier, I think everyone has their reasons why they buy guns now, whether they're new to buying guns, they just want to buy whatever they can, or whatever, they want ARs, or they want shotguns or whatever. Maybe they're buying them for home defense, or maybe they're buying for competition. Maybe you're buying them for CCW. And then maybe you evolve over time of maybe going into collecting or whatever. So I'm going to start with Chris. And oh, by the way, throw out any questions you guys have. We do have John down here from True Shot Gun Club, one of the best and biggest ammo suppliers in the country. So if you have any questions on ammo, whether just what calibers or what they have in stock, anything and everything that you have questions on ammo, utilize John. He's here, and he's probably going to be willing to answer any and all of those. So throw those questions out there as well. But I'm going to start with Chris and say, I'm going to start out with this. We're not going to go to where now. Starting out, like when you first started buying guns, did you have a method to your madness, or were you just buying whatever you could afford?
A little bit of both. Like, I wanted to started a shotgun, and then I wanted to get an
home defense or something,
AR.
or what?
Huh?
Was a shotgun, was there a purpose like for home defense, or was there a purpose for the shotgun that you wanted? Or just
I would say with the shotgun, but I mean, being where I grew up out on a game reserve like that, I bought it more for hunting.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. And then, I wanted an AR, and then I decided I wanted to get concealed carry. So I was like, well, I got to have a handgun to do that. So I bought my first handgun and practiced with it for a while.
What your first handgun was?
Do I remember mine?
Your first handgun? Yeah. What was your first handgun you bought?
It was a Walther PK 380 was my first.
Oh, snap. Nice. Yeah. Nice. You still have it?
Yep. I still got it. Never gets shot. Just sits in the safe.
No, I hear you. No, I get it. I would say the vast majority of us, if we still have our first handguns, they probably don't get shot very much anymore over the years. We, have a lot more toys that we enjoy shooting more, but yeah. So you first started out with going shotgun, AR, handgun for different reasons. Obviously, the shotgun for hunting, the AR, did it have a purpose, or you just wanted an AR?
Yeah, I just wanted an AR then.
Yeah, and then the handgun, your first handgun you bought was more for concealed carry. So you kind of had a mission as to what your first few firearms were going to be used for. Except for the AR, you just wanted an AR. Absolutely. Yeah. There you go. John, do you remember your first few handguns? Was there a method to the madness, or you just like, oh, that looks cool, I think I'll buy it?
So the first gun I bought I was a broke college kid. We were going to the range. I was like, I'm buying my first gun. 20 years old. This is back in 2011. I bought a
God,
Mosin.
You're such a young pup.
I'm such a young pup. I bought a Mosin for $89 back in the day. Right. And ammo. Wow. I think out the door was like $120 with ammo.
Do you still have it?
I still have my Mosin. I bought it. Chris will be familiar with this place. I bought it from Fin Feather Fur in Ashland. Went down there, picked it out. And then so the whole reason why I bought a gun in the first place, somebody smashed their head through our front door in the middle of the night in college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, drunk, cut open the window screens and stuff. So I was looking at a shotgun.
Through the window with their head?
No, they cut the window screens, tried to open the window, couldn't open the window, came up the steps to the front door, fell back. And this is when Chris knows the house type back in Akron. It's like a 30s style house, one of those cookie cutter houses in Akron. Yeah, sure. Guy walked up the front steps, fell backwards and fell forward and put his head right through the front pane window of the door.
But you felt that the next day.
Yeah, well, I got the phone call. I was at home at the time. I got the phone call from my cousin, and she's like, "There's blood all over the door, and the glass is missing." And I'm like, "It's 6:00 in the morning. What's going on?"
Right.
So I was going to buy a Maverick 88 from Mossberg, great shotgun, but then I bought a Mosin because it was $89, and I wanted to go.
Well, so this is 2011.
Yeah.
What was the Maverick running? About 150?
200 at Dick's back when Dick's actually.
Okay.
So, so I bought the Mosin, and then I bought my first handgun 2 months after I turned 21. I bought a Glock 17, and I will remember the day only because I was at the store while Sandy Hook was happening.
Really? How weird was that?
It was super weird because everybody was talking about it, and
now they're all looking at you like, "What?"
Yeah. Well, you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out what you want to buy. And I've been talking because I wanted a Beretta 92, and then I went with the Glock 17. And it was weird because now that I think about it, like I remember every time that comes up, I'm like, "Oh, I bought my first handgun." That's not the first thing you want to think about, but so I went there, and the madness continued from there. So I bought,
that was literally a year ago or 10 years ago, like couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I bought a Glock 17, put thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds to that thing. And then I bought then the Ammo-Geddon happened. The first Ammo-Geddon.
Yeah.
And the only thing you could find on the shelf, and
that was like 2017, maybe?
No, that was like the 2013 Ammo-Geddon.
Oh, 2013 one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the only thing you could find on the shelf at the time was 40. It was like $12 a box.
God, 2013. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. It didn't seem like it's been that long ago.
It doesn't. But 40 was the only thing you could find on the shelf. So I bought an SD 40 VE. Absolutely hated the gun. Got rid of it.
The SDVE?
The SD40 VE.
Yeah, the whole series was iffy.
So I sold that to a buddy and bought a SIG. Yeah, I know. Buddy, what well, he was looking at one anyway, so he's like, "Yeah, I'll buy it." So then I bought a SIG SP 2022 back when they were like $300 with night sights.
Wow.
It came night sights, holster, and one mag for 350 or something like that. It was dirt cheap. And I got so I got that in 40 because 40 was still cheap. And then I educated myself a little bit.
All the 40 choices. I mean,
yeah, I know. So I educated myself. And then from there, it was like, I got gifted a Makarov, and that's between the Mosin and the Makarov. Then I started wanting to collect Milsurp stuff. So, I got Tokarev, Makarov, Nagant revolver, SKS, AK. So I did that.
You have a Grand?
That's the one I don't. So I have a P14. I have a Arasaka. I have a bring back Arasaka from just like it's a late war, but it's early late war. So it's like right when the changes started happening. I've got a Mauser. I've got everything but a Grand, and that's on my list of things. So I started collecting Milsurp stuff because I lived not too far from AIM Surplus, So I was buying Milsurp stuff from them, and it kind of got out of control from there. So, it started with the P14, and
then you got into the gun industry, and then all hell broke loose.
Well, that's when 2013 is when I first got into the industry, and then then after that, it was like I worked at a shop not too far from where Chris is, called Aim High. I was working there for a couple years, and I was buying stuff left and right and when I was a manager at Gander, when we talked last week, buying stuff left and right because industry discount and pricing and things come in used that people don't want, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Like now, none of my stuff had there are very few things that have a rhyme or reason why I buy it. Like I bought a P365 because that had a reason for me to buy it. Everything else, like I didn't need a Polish P64. Did I buy one? Yes, because I like Milsurp stuff. I like cool things. It's a piece of history. Like that thing's got a story. Some guy had it, and now I have it.
It's probably killed a couple of people.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. Yeah.
I mean, there's weird moanings coming from my safe.
About the Milsurp stuff, man. I know that Clover's a big infield fan. But yeah, I mean, some of those old things, the stories behind these, and matter of fact, Clover and I were on the phone, I don't know, it was a week or two ago. I don't even know how we got on Milsurp, because God forbid I brought it up, because I wouldn't bring Milsurp shit up. That's too FUD for me. But we got on to something, and I don't know if it was like was it the 303 British that we traced all the way back to like the 260 something back? I mean, what was that, Clover, which caliber are we talking about? We traced all the way back to its origins.
About the whole 6.5 thing, and if you trace
that's the 6.5, that's right. The 6.5 we brought all the way back down. Yeah, that's right.
30-01.
Yeah. It was crazy. Like we were just like, okay, here's the parent cartridge. Here's a parent cartridge to that. Here's a parent, and it's like 150 years ago, whatever. The 6.5 parent cartridge. And it's like, holy cow! It's crazy to kind of trace origins of today's popular calibers and find out all the way down the line where it started from.
Yeah, had a 30-01 never been made.
30-01.
Potentially, we don't have 6.5 Creed. Like, how crazy is that to think, right?
Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it? It's kind of cool. Now, Clover, I'm not going to ask you about why you buy guns, because you came out of the womb carrying a buck mark or a shotgun. So I know now you're more opportunistic. You look for deals, not necessarily. You're still looking for some Marlins to complete some series and sets and all that, but mostly you're looking for deals at this point.
Yeah, that's true. I've got a few. There's a few here and there. I mean, that's one thing about having what I have is I've got quote unquote collections, Yeah. And so, there's certain ones, but I'm not really actively looking for those, right? It's like if I come across them and, it's a deal or something. So even then, even with the ones I have certain groups that, I consider collections. Yeah, I mean, it's still opportunistic in a way. I mean, I'm not going out. I could go out and find every single one of those, right? If I wanted to just spend whatever kind of money I wanted to spend or had to spend. But, that's not the point. So, yeah, I haven't ever gotten really crazy about the latest, greatest thing that's come out. I've got to have it. I just never, but I can't think of anything I've been that way about. I don't think I've ever been anything, right? Whether that's cars or video games or whatever it might be. I just don't think I've ever had to have the latest greatest. So I don't know, maybe that plays into
let's be honest, he just went and bought himself a Nintendo, so I mean, like, he's a little behind the curve on video games. Like, I asked him, hey man, why don't you go get yourself like the new PlayStation? Because no, I just bought my new Nintendo. Like, Nintendo,
that Nintendo
years ago.
That Nintendo I got at Wanamaker is awesome though. My wife and I have been playing that, and it's fun.
So is that a step up from Atari or what?
Oh yeah.
Hey, there is no such thing as a step up from Atari. I'm just saying the 6400 is the ruler of all game systems.
6400 or the Jaguar, or you're talking the 2400 is the OG.
Yeah. Do you remember what was it, ColecoVision? Remember Coleco?
Yeah.
You guys remember Coleco back in the day? That was like supposed to take the place of Atari. I don't think it ever worked out for him. Real quick before we move on, Georgia Rebel, I'm looking for something in 40 and 45. Any ideas? My God, man. Go 45. I'll say that. Unless you can find a really cheap, but go 45. I don't know what you have, Rebel, but I mean, let's just be honest. If you're talking 45 ACP, and you're looking to get something, if you don't already have one, go get yourself a 1911. I mean, let's just be honest. So I want to ask you guys this, because I've shot them, but I've never owned one. But a lot of people talk about a great little entry level 1911 is that Rock Island. Have you guys had much experience with the Rock Island? Because I hear nothing but really good things for an entry level 1911.
Once upon a time, I would have agreed with you. I would have agreed with that, and less and less over time. So, like 10 years ago, or so, I would have said, yeah, I mean, Rock Island, it's pretty solid, whatever. But for a $300 or
$400 1911, it's probably pretty solid,
But like nowadays, it's like Rock Island in general. You know what I mean? Is like,
no, I get it.
It's like it's lacking or something compared to what they used to be.
An old gunsmith buddy of mine said Rock Islands are a great starter platform for the 1911, but the frames do not hold up as long.
Yeah.
So you can shoot a ton of them, but the one I really like, so I had a Rock Island 1911 CS. It's like their Commander concealed carry version for a while. I really did like that. I sold that, but we did a review of the in name by committee, Rock Island 45 TAC A1 dash whatever. It's their double stack 45. It's a 13+1 1911. I loved that gun. That gun just shot, especially in 45. It shot flat. It had a little bit more meat on the grip. If you got a little bit bigger hands, it's easier to wrap around. That one I really do like from Rock Island, but everything coming out of Turkey, I mean,
their Gersons, you can't go wrong. You just can't go. The Gersons, I'm partial to. They're great. Now he says there is a Rock Island for $350 and a Taurus for $450. I don't have any experience with the Taurus 1911s. Is a collective group in the panel, a Rock Island for $350 or a Taurus for $450? What would you guys go with?
Is it a 1911 Taurus or is it another? Because there was a Taurus. So I had a Taurus 45.
He just says, I'm assuming it's a 1911, but
I'm assuming too. Taurus makes a really decent 1911, but Taurus did back in the day. It was called the 845. It was a 12+1 capacity polymer frame hammer, double single action. I had one. I loved it. I had to sell it to get some cash, and you can't find them. If you can find them, it's basically it's the poor man's FN. The 45 TAC is what it is. Okay. It's double single action with a decocker safety. It's pretty dope if you can find one.
Yeah.
There's going to be a little more attention given to the finishing process and all on the Taurus. So that $100 you're spending is more hands-on time.
You think it's worth it? That extra $100? You think?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the TAC Ultra double stack 9mm 1911 from Rock Island. I love it. It's a great gun. But their bottom of the line $350 1911, no, I'd go with the Taurus over it for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, he's probably talking about the GI model if it's $350. And I had one of those, and that's actually the only handgun I ever got rid of that I bought. I didn't care for it. But I do have the TAC Ultra that Snob's got, and that's one of my favorite guns. But
that says a lot. That's the only handgun you ever got rid of. Like, that's it right there.
Now, I will say this, Georgia. I know that you said 40 or 45. I'm all for the 45. What I would do is start looking at some 10mm stuff instead of 40. If you can go into a 10mm, I think you'll enjoy a 10mm a hell of a lot more you were a 40. I've always said that the only good thing about a 40 is it can be converted to 357 SIG. That's the only good thing about 40. But no, a 10mm or a 45, I think you can go wrong with. But 45, you can probably find a 45 is a lot cheaper and get some decent quality for the value. 10mm, especially today, are typically going to run a little bit more. It depends on what your budget is, but there's a lot of great stuff out there. This is just me. I'm a 40 hater, so don't take this for anything except for I don't like 40. I would look at 10mm instead of 40, but get yourself a 10mm and 45. either one of those would be fine. I would stay with. That's just my opinion, though.
Sort of in the price range he's talking about, we're talking about 45, and you're going to have to go used, right? You're going to have to go used market, but especially if it's like, okay, you don't want the single action of the 1911, you would prefer a double action, and something that's solid as a freaking tank. I mean, they're not the prettiest thing, but they certainly handle 45 really well. They're great shooters. Is the P90 from Ruger.
I knew that's what you were going to say when you started saying built like a tank.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, you could probably find one of those used. They've been going up over the last few years. Like everything has, of course, but you could probably get one for around the cost of that Rock Island 1911.
You can also get a. There's a lot of departments dumping their M&P 45s right now, and I've seen them on the market for a good. That's a nice gun.
Yeah.
If it is the Taurus 1911, the question now is, what do you want? That is more feature packed than the Rock Island. It's got front and rear cocking serrations. It's got a full length guide rod. It's got an extended beaver tail. Like for that $100 jump, you're getting a lot more gun at the end of the day.
G23 says, "Isn't Rock Island in the same boat as Springfield?" And what?
That's Rock River is what he's
politically.
That's
Rock River. If you're talking politically, that's Rock River. I don't know.
Got that.
About what's up?
I've got the M&P 45, the Gen 1. Now the triggers are kind of crappy in them, but I'm a Smith & Wesson
fan. But Smith & Wesson pistol triggers are historically not very good. But you can get an aftermarket trigger pretty easily for those.
Oh yeah, I'm going to throw an Apex in mine. I just haven't got around to it, but I really like my M&P 45.
I was just gonna say, drop the guys down the road from us. Apex makes they are the name when it comes to M&P triggers.
She Fires is out there. What's up, homegirl? We're gonna see her in less than a month at SHOT Show. Be her inaugural voyage there, along with Chris. But looking forward to that. Snob, let's kind of get back to what we were talking about while you jumped in. We're gonna start with initially, when you first started buying guns, did you buy guns for a specific purpose, or did you buy them because they're a good price, or did you have any rhyme or reason as to the first few guns that you bought?
Probably the first few I would have bought for a specific purpose.
Yeah. I think that's kind of where we all are.
Yeah. Kind of just went out the window.
Well, yeah, and I think that's what we're talking about. Everybody will kind of, the longer you get into the gun thing, you start getting picky on the guns that you buy, and they may not be for a specific purpose. They might just have, wanting this gun for a while, or I got a good deal on it, or whatever.
I don't know if I'm picky. I bought a Hi-Point Yeet cannon because it said Yeet cannon on the side.
I mean, and you did that. You took that Yeet cannon to a whole new level, by the way. So.
Well, that was a different one, but yeah.
Yeah. Sam says, this is a question for John. Going back to your Milsurp discussion, do you have a World War II era 1911 A1 in your collection, or is it on your list to get?
That is on the list. Grand and that I got to finish some collection. So on the list is an Enfield revolver to finish the Enfield. Then also a Luger, if I can ever find one for a decent price. And then the A1.
What would you consider as a decent price? Because I know a buddy of mine that's got several of them.
I don't have money. I'm poor.
Then you probably won't be able to afford these.
Yeah,
because they come with a holster, and they're legit holsters. He sells. They're very expensive, but he's got 3 of them.
See, you got to remember, I bought my Mosin for $89, and I bought my Enfield for $150. So
yeah,
you gotta there's a fine line where the wife won't shoot me with it.
No, I understand. Yeah. I was going to try to help you out, but yeah, this one might get you in trouble.
Have you thought about just getting a different wife? I consider this often.
Yeah, here's the thing with Milsurps, right? We every time we come back from Tulsa, we complain about the prices, right, that we see.
Sure.
But here's the thing: if you don't pay that price, whatever your buddy wants for those, In 5 years, you're going to be kicking yourself for not paying that price because, like, they don't make
I get
milsurp stuff anymore, right? So
I kick myself every day. There was
but you got to have the money too. I get that.
Right.
I get that aspect for sure.
You don't have, several $1,000s for certain guns. Sometimes you're screwed.
Well, back in 2013-ish, when the ARs were hard to find and super expensive, I was looking for an AR. Then somebody walked by at the gun show with a M1 carbine with 10 mags for $300, and I passed that up, and I'm still kicking myself.
I'm sorry, what now?
$300 for an M1 carbine and 10 mags. They just wanted to get rid of it. And I kick myself to this day. I had the cash in hand, and I kick myself today because I did not buy it.
I'd kick you too. Just saying. Chicago Mike says, my first purchase was a Canic. Didn't know anything about it. Well, Mike, you got lucky as hell if the first handgun that you bought without knowing anything about it was a Canic. Well done, sir. I remember when I got my first Canic was 2018, and they had just kind of come on the scene as far as like they were starting to kind of make a little splash and all that. I was lucky enough to know someone that worked with the company and love Canics like immediately. And now Canic has become Canic, and it's very respected guns company that 5 years ago was like kind of just, we're here, no one really knows about us. So your first gun was a Canic, you didn't know anything about it. That you kind of got lucky in getting a great gun by accident almost for your first gun. That's G23 says, text me the price. I might be very interested. I'm going to start out and say that I know the cheapest one's about $4,000. So just saying.
I know as soon as that steel frame Canic hits the market, I'm buying. I'm buying it.
It's so funny. It's funny when we were talking about this. Clover and I was talking about this the other day. The trends are so funny in the gun community. For 20 plus years, everyone wanted the polymer, everyone polymer. And now polymer is like, if you come out with a polymer gun now, you're pretty much screwed because everyone wants to go back to steel frame guns, which I think is awesome. It's interesting how all of a sudden, like polymer is the enemy, where for 25, 30 years, polymer was everything. It's kind of interesting that now the steel frame stuff's coming out. I remember when Walther came out about 3 or 4 years ago with the Q5. They had the PPQ come out, and right after that, they had the match steel frame come out. And I remember talking with Cody, and I was like, man, like maybe outside of competition, like competition shooters may like the steel frame, but like no one's shooting steel frames anymore. And he goes, it'll come back around. And it took a couple of years, but like, yeah, I mean, there were some companies that were putting some steel frame stuff out, get away from the polymer a few years ago. I guess they maybe saw a trend, but yeah, it's crazy that the steel stuff, the steel frames are coming back, and the polymer stuff just really isn't in demand right now. And I think you're seeing all these companies come out with the polymer guns, and they're just like, damn, like we had a bad year this year with the polymer stuff, but it's what it is. Canics are winning. Just saying, yeah, Canics. I mean, I'm a huge Canic fan. People know that about me. Huge Canic fan. Huge Canic. I love my Canics.
When you come out with one bad gun, Canic's only been dissed on one gun since they've come out, and that's the one where they really did the cocker.
Terribly dissed. It wasn't like it was a terrible gun, there are guns that come out that are just bad guns. Canic's been very lucky, but that just shows you right there. You talk about all these Turkish companies, they're Gersons of the world, the SARs of the world. They may not be like the most awesome guns, all that. They're very good guns, but we'll tell you is talking to people that I'm friends with that deal with the Turkish people, like the manufacturing process in Turkey, they take very seriously. They spend a shit ton of money on their factories and making sure that their production line is as good a quality as they can get. So it's not like they're just trying to make cheap guns. They're trying to make really quality guns for a good price. But and we all know this, that like 80% of shotguns in the world are all made in Turkey. Most people don't realize that, but a vast majority of shotguns in the world are made in Turkey. So Turkey's been making firearms for quality for a long, long time. And I love the people that'll sit there and say, well, I'm never going to buy any of those guns because I'm not sending my money to the terrorists. I'm like, well, first of all, they're in NATO. They're an ally. Is there a faction part of it that might be? Yeah, but your money's going to the gun shop, and that money from the gun shop is going to the distributor. The distributor is going to the importer. So your money technically is not getting over to the slight 2%. Now Clover loves Turkey because apparently he says he's huge over there. I don't believe it, but he says he's huge in Turkey. So he says he's moving to Turkey. He's out.
Ghost, I got a great story about Canik. Just to tell about Nils Jorgensen, he's their professional shooter. If anybody has met Nils, he's always at their booth. Great guy. Nils was telling me a story about how him and Canik was developing the rival. He went over there, shot some pistols, gave them some remarks, marked some stuff down, went to lunch, came back, and they had new pistols lined up for him with the changes, shot them, came back. It was like a 5-day period where he was like, okay, this needs to be changed. This needs to be changed slightly. And they were back and forth within. Somebody would take the gun that he said needed change it, and it'd be back on the table by the time he got back around to it. So that's just showing like how much they're willing to listen to these people and take the input compared to some of the other companies that we know.
100%.
And not only that, he won 3 championships this year with a Canik.
What's that? Yeah. Didn't you say that the guy that's like the national champion in several divisions in USPSA shot all Caniks or something like that?
Yeah, he shot. I know he won carry optics, production, and I believe limited this year. So, I mean, he was going from a dot to irons, and I don't know, man, the guy's insane.
He's probably the same guy. Let's just be honest about this. I mean, I look at those top level competitive shooters like the national and world champions, the same guys as like the PGA Tour guys on golf. You give that national champion, like, just name a crap gun. Like, you give him a high point, and that dude's going to be able to give him a few minutes with that high point. He's going to shoot the shit out of that high point. That's just the way it is. Like, he's going to shoot the high point a lot better than you could ever shoot a high point. Professional golfers, they could go get Walmart clubs and still beat your ass. Let's be honest. With Walmart clubs. But yeah, those guys are just gifted shooters for sure. Now, Sam does say Caniks are not a bad choice for looking for a budget copy of the P99. So, I mean, that's basically the TP9 is a copy of the P99. Once again, a lot of these Turkish companies, like I'll take the Gerson Regard, which is the clone of the 92. And Clover has one, and when he gets back, he'll be back here in a second. He had to probably go use the restroom. I don't know. But he'll tell you, and I've shot the Regard a couple different times. A couple buddies have them, but he'll tell you that the great thing about the Regard is they took all the good stuff about a 92 and took all the bad stuff and made it better. So it's a great version of a 92. And I think that's what a lot of these Turkish clones are, that the P35, this high power thing is amazing. They're trying to put quality things out there for a reasonable price, but they're really good quality. And yes, they are clones, but like I'd be willing to bet, Clover, you'd take that Regard over a 92 FS anytime, wouldn't you?
Man, I hate to say it, but yeah, I mean, except for the name, right? I mean, if you was to,
yeah, I'm just about the actual gun. If we were to take off all the markings off both guns and you were to shoot it, you'd probably pick the Regard. If you anybody
out there would 100% pick the Regard. I mean, it is compared to an FS, because the Regard is a Centurion, man. It really is. It's just beefier and everything. And so I guarantee you, and a lot of people, the problem is they get hung up because they see the name or, whatever the case may be, and they can't detach themselves. Like, okay, I need to look at this from the 30,000 foot view or, whatever, detach yourself from it and say, okay, let me look at this without bringing brand, right? Because think about Brett. Brett had been around a long time. Oldest firearm company, oldest arms company, right, in the world, basically. And so there's no discount.
And they know it. I'm a huge Beretta, huge Beretta fan. They know it. They know what they are.
Yeah, well, that's an
You're
Italian
very proud
thing.
of what they are. Yeah, it is.
Totally. But the honest truth is, you take the brand off, you set them side by side, and even though the Taurus PT92, this is going to tick a lot of people off because they're fans of it, and I'm okay with it too. I own Taurus. I don't have a problem with the Taurus 92 stuff, but you put all three of them out there, and there's no name on them, you're going to go Curson. I can guarantee you're going to go with that Regard every single time.
So I did a little test back when we got the SAR 9 in. We put a SAR 9 next to a VP9, blindfolded people, told them to grab it, couldn't tell the difference.
I'm telling you, and I've said this before, the VP9, I'm just talking about the feel, the ergonomics, the feel of the gun is my favorite feeling gun I've ever held in my life. For some reason, it's amazing. When I started meeting SAR guys back in 2017, 2018, and I held the SAR 9, I was like, oh my God, it's a VP9. And it basically is. It's a VP9 lower with a Glock 17 slide. Basically, it's what a SAR 9 is, which is phenomenal. It's it's the love child of the two great guns. But yeah, I mean, that SAR 9, and I tell you what, I mean, I don't know how many thousands of rounds I've got through mine. For an inexpensive gun, like, it gets better and better as you shoot it. It really does. I haven't had any issues with it. The only issue ammo-wise that I ever had problems with that gun were some polymer tipped defensive ammo. I think they were just too light. I really do. I think that it wasn't a gun, because I had same problems with cycling that ammo in different guns also. So I think it was the ammo and not the gun. But that thing will chew up and spit out and eat anything you put through it. There's some great guns. I mean, there really are. I will tell you that there's a deal out there, and our good friend Ken over at BRG, I talked to him yesterday, I guess. There's some videos on me and Snob and Clover's channels with a BRG 9. Is it the greatest gun ever? No, I'm not going to lie to you. It's a good gun. It's an XD copy. But right now they're selling for $189. Like, for $189, that might be one of the best deals out there right now. So if you can go find yourself a BRG 9, only spend $189,
truth.
Like, that's a hell of a deal right there. It's not, like I said, it's not the greatest gun, but for $189, it's not bad. What were you going to say, Clove?
Oh, I was agreeing with you. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. All I heard was, so I didn't know if that was like your burping or what.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I think that the recent price drop. Of course, we nothing bad, but we, absolutely nothing bad. In fact, a lot of good. No. But we know that
there's a reason why.
All that is a reason. But yeah.
You'll know more about that next month.
Right. Right.
Has anybody tried out the SDS Import XD clone without the grip safety? It looks interesting.
So that's a Tissos.
Is that Tissos?
Yeah,
right.
And I've had horrible experiences with Tissos in the past. So but I haven't played with that particular one. But that kind of turns me off. That they've been through several importers as of recently, and it's just, I don't know. I've never been a fan of any of their stuff. They tried the high power clone as well back in the day, and it really didn't catch on because we had some issues. And
well, they were breaking back extractors back in the day, and the importer for them was actually up in over in Chris's neck of the woods over in Newark.
Yeah. So that's.
Yeah. I haven't shot the Tissos XD clone yet. Like I said, the BRG 9, it's not a game changer. It's a really solid gun. But for $189, it's a phenomenal gun. If someone's out there and you're looking for a 9mm XD clone, that's going to be a good solid gun for you for $189. That's it. 100%. I put it through the Crucible and it passed.
I know
amazing colors.
a lot like we talk about with the Gerson Regard and the changes made, the upgrades, whatever, if you will, from the Thoroughbred 92. And I don't remember, but I know I've talked about them in a video before. The upgraded, let's call it, differences with the BRG9 as opposed.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's absolutely yeah.
And I don't want to knock too hard on my SD, right? I can't put words in anybody else's mouth on their XD, but I've had an XD since the XD first came out. I've got one of the very first XD9s. I mean, it's a fairly low serial number even. Like they hit the market and, not long after I had one. And it's been one of my favorite handguns.
Yeah, I love an XD.
And the same reason I love, and you know this because you're a big fan of the Beretta 92 as well. Mm-hmm. I've always been a huge fan of the Beretta 92, but the same thing I say, like the Gerson's better, like that Regard's better, the BRG9's better. The BRG9's better. I'm telling you. Does that mean it's the best handgun? No.
No.
Does that mean it's going to have the resale value or that I would choose it over the XD, if I was going to go fight in a sandbox or something, like, depending on the circumstances, no. But
yeah, what I'm saying is right now for $189, you're going to be hard pressed to find a better gun than that BRG9 right now. Just saying. I'm not saying it's a game changer and all of that. Just saying. Now, Lance out there says, $180, that's cheaper than my High Point. Yes, it is. And it'll run circles around your High Point. Yeah. I'm a High Point owner. I don't knock High Point for what they are. I think everyone should own a High Point. If for no other reason, it'll truly make them appreciate everything else they have. Just saying. High Points go bang. They may be ugly. They may be heavy. They go bang. But I think everyone should own a High Point just to be part of the group, man.
I'm going to pose a question to the group here. Would you take the BRZ over a Sky? And I don't know. I've never shot it.
100% without BRG over Sky every day and twice on Sundays.
I would. And I tell you what, I don't, here's the thing. I don't got a whole lot of time with the new striker fired Sky, but I do know a little bit at events I've played with that. It seems pretty good.
I'm on my not Christmas card list after my video of it.
Oh yeah. But
you are not on the Christmas card list.
I would.
I'm going to let Chicago Mike out there. He wants to come in. Yeah, the link's out there. So come on in, Mike. Sorry, go ahead, Glove.
No, I was just saying. I mean, the newer Sky, like from what I've experienced, okay, maybe the older ones. Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, it's better.
Yeah. The newer one is definitely better than the older one.
It is, but it's still just
the one they sent me. I mean, the best part about it had the Riton optic on it.
So you can take that off and use it for something else.
Yeah, took that off, put a Romeo 0 on it, and sold it. But anyways, they left like little bits and pieces of metal all in the gun, and the trigger pull would go from like 4 pounds to like 12 pounds, 4 pounds to 12 pounds. You couldn't shoot it accurate because the trigger was constantly. Finally,
I never could get it to 4 pounds.
Really good.
It never was at 4 pounds. It was like
around 5 pounds. I don't know. It was crazy all over the place.
A lot of people don't realize that when you're getting imported stuff, when you're buying cheaper stuff, it's kind of like I've talked about a bunch of times. Is you're not paying for, like, things are not cheaper necessarily because they use cheaper materials or they use cheaper machinery or they're paying cheaper labor, right? They've got slave labor. Things are cheaper because they don't spend the time on it. And so, what you get into when you start talking about burrs and you start talking about metal shavings, that can affect the performance of things. And so you need to be mindful of that. When you're buying quote unquote budget stuff or whatever, just keep in mind
it might take a little while for it to work out those kinks.
And it may not work them out. You may have to legit tear it down and file and clean and do things in order for it to run right. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
So coming from manufacturing before I was at True Shot, you guys know where I was at. Barrel pricing and pricing on things is almost the same. It doesn't matter who makes it. The price, what it comes down to, like Clover said, is the attention to detail and making sure and the quality assurance and just not pumping out parts as quickly as you can. That's what it really comes down to at the end of the day.
Yeah. Real quick shout out, Pat in the bunker, $5 super chat. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you very much. Domo Arigato says, my answer to why buy guns. He says, is there a leasing program for firearms ownership or even a long-term rental, i.e. temporary ownership of a firearm versus renting at the gun range for that session's use? I'm just going to say that most gun shops, especially if you know them, they may not advertise it, but if you know them and you've known them for a while and done business with them, most gun shops will do one of two things. They'll put it on layaway for you and let you pay over time until you pay it off. Some of them, like if I were to go down and I couldn't initially afford to buy a gun at my gun shop that I wanted, I will guarantee you that he would let me put down $100, let me take it home, and trust me to come back, for the next few months and pay it off. But that's because I have a personal relationship with my gun shop, and I know Clover can do the same thing. Almost have a line of credit, if you
especially
will.
with used, not necessarily with new stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
but with anything used, I mean, I kind of have a line of credit at this point, which can get dangerous, by the way.
Yep.
But I mean, at the very least, if you're talking about a used one, especially if it's a gun shop that has a range, and we're talking about, it's why we've talked about, forging a good relationship with your local gun shop, and if they've got a range, then I can't tell you the number of times I've picked up something used just to experience shooting it and taking it out to the range. Like they don't care. It's like, hey, I want to go put a few rounds of this, and they're like, go ahead. And I have zero intentions of buying it. Even I just want to shoot it just to say I've shot it or whatever, right? So there's value in that. Don't discount it.
So working with an FFL with his question sounds like he's looking for a long-term take-home. It is a nightmare and a half to even consider that.
I imagine paperwork's got to be.
Oh, the paperwork's going to be, and the reason why it hasn't happened is that there's a lot of bad things that could happen, and especially if it was, let's just say, if somebody who is deceitful and buy it to go use it in a robbery, and then they bring it back. Well, now that shop's out that gun, and even if it's a new gun and they take it out, now I got to resell it as used price, no matter what it is. If I bring it in, I'm losing money either way.
Yeah. That's why you got to be trustworthy, right? I mean, you've got to know that, if you've been shopping that local gun shop for 3, 4, 5 years, you bought 10 guns from them, right? You're there every other Saturday. They pretty much know you at that point, right? And it's a whole different
100%.
situation.
Let's say hey to Chicago. Mike, what's up, bro?
What's going on, guys? How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, just chilling like a villain, just trying to stay warm. What about you? It's probably pretty cool up there in Chi-Town, isn't it?
Yeah, we're about to get up to 20 inches of snow. Tomorrow.
Hey, stay safe.
It's about to be a shit show.
It is. But stay safe up there. And I know that you're a Canik fan. You're a Gerson fan. I want to kind of talk to you. And I don't know how long ago you kind of got into firearms, but when you start buying your first few guns, did you have a specific purpose or reason why you bought specific guns, or you just bought what you could afford, or what?
It's mostly like the brand, like what's so popular about the brand. Like I've done okay, so my first gun was the Canik. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about Caniks. When I bought one, because they were on sale. I bought one for like under $300. The Canik TP9 Special Forces. As soon as I picked up that gun, I started doing my research, and I've seen nothing but good reviews on it. Went to the range, shot like I say about 250 rounds through it the first time. Then jammed on me, kept shooting it. Shot over 1,000 rounds. It held up pretty well, and I regret trading it in for TP9 Elite Combat. That was one of the biggest mistakes
the
I
Elite
ever
Combat's
made.
great. My first Canik was the TP9 SF Elite, and I love that thing.
Yeah,
really do love that thing.
Now the only Canik I heard is not as great as the Sub Combat.
So here's the thing, and I think this is where we talked about this a little bit last week or 2 weeks ago. Here's where a lot of the things Having a friend, and I don't think he's with them anymore, but he was for a long time with Century, I should say, not necessarily with Canik, but he knew all about. He shot Canik. I would say this. I wish they would, and they might now, but back then they were not putting this out publicly. When they sent me the first one, he told me, said, look, you need to, for the first 200 or 300 rounds, use 124 grain. Then you can drop to 115 grain after you get broken in, but use 124 grain for the first couple hundred rounds. That said, I think that was a reason for a lot of the SC's problems, is a lot of people were getting them. They were throwing 115 grain in there, and it was having some cycling issues. Had they done at least 100 rounds or whatever, 124 grain, I don't know this, but I would suspect that probably they wouldn't have had as many issues with that as they did if they just started with 115. Like I said, I don't know that for a fact, but I do know that they told me directly, for the first couple hundred rounds, use 124 grain, and then you can go to 115. And I've done that with both my mechanics, and they have not had an issue at all. So
I was told, like whatever firearm that you buy, I was told by a couple of people, always test different ammunition to see if, I'm like, okay, are they were sensitive. Now I know most people like to shoot steel through the firearms. Me personally, I don't have nothing against them. I just don't like having all that metal to the parts. I just rather just shoot all brass. That's just me. Now with other firearms, like, well, I should say pistols wise, let's see, a 10 millimeter. I had a Springfield XDM, loved it.
Okay, yep, absolutely.
I sold it because it was hard to find, and the ammunition was like $45 to $50 for a box of 50. And I was like, nah. That kind of reminded me of the pandemic, when it was going through, paying $40, $50 for a box of 9. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, right now, John, for what you're seeing as far as your prices, do you see 10 millimeter coming down anytime soon, or is it going to still be a premium price usually?
It's going to be a premium price for a little bit. We just found out from one of our biggest suppliers, another price increase is coming. A lot of the ammo manufacturers, and this is for everybody out there, it's not your local shop. It's not your online guys. They're trying to check up. The manufacturer themselves have increased their pricing across the board.
And they're passing those prices on to you guys.
Right. And like I said, we buy like 2, 3, 4 containers a week that come through our warehouse, and we still are affected by it. And this last one is a 10% increase. Everybody knows during the pandemic, Winchester and everybody else did a 20 and then a 30 and then another 20. And, but the price of the 10 mil is going to be a premium. I think we're selling it for like $35 a box. Don't quote me on that. It could be a little bit more, but you're going to see the big thing, and it's just like the 5.7. 5.7 is really expensive right now, but there's a lot more guns coming out in 5.7, just like 10 millimeter. The popular the caliber gets, the lower the price is going, and that's why we see 9 mil where it's at, because it's so popular.
Everyone's manufacturing. They're manufacturing a shit ton for the demand. Yeah.
And
I love 10 millimeter, but if I didn't reload it, I don't think I would love it as much.
You have a lot of them, Chris. I've been seeing you reloading them. I'll be like, okay, wake and bake.
Yeah, I'm building my stockpile for next year right now.
I'm seeing 10 millimeter around like 50 cents a round. So I don't.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing it around.
I don't get it's so expensive thing.
When it's available here, it's been about $27. So yeah, let's say not more than 50 cents.
Yeah, it was around that.
My
it was
problem
around
is I
that
can't
price.
find it. It's not available that much around here. That's my problem.
And it's going to be a little more. I mean, it's
sure.
I mean,
It was around that price in my city. Before it started going up, and then hard to find. But online, you can see much more of them online. But of course, we can barely get ammo coming having to ship to your house in Illinois. But since we got
also talking about Illinois might be when you put your address, it might be more expensive than it is if they're shipping it to Arkansas.
Well, we
More
just gotta.
importantly, I think honestly, what it comes down to is there is a thing called supply and demand, and when the supply isn't as high and the demand is, the supply hasn't been as high with 10 millimeter lately, and a lot of people are starting to shoot a lot more 10 millimeter, so the demand is there. So yeah, I mean, it sounds bad, but that's a capitalist world, man. It's just the way it is a little bit.
All right, so I looked it up. I got 10 mil right now for $22.99 a box for S&B.
Yeah, that's
and
what
then
I've
I've,
been
got,
getting.
There you
I've
go.
got some hollow points and stuff like that.
I've been given like 24 for 10 millimeter SMB locally.
Yeah,
damn.
ours, like I said, ours is
Still
about
got
27, but I just can't find it. Like it's not available very often.
Anybody?
I might
Anybody
know a
selling anybody selling the 10 millimeter?
Yeah, actually, if it's $22, then I might have to go online real quick. It's because I've got
that's
10 millimeter
cheap.
here pretty
That's
soon,
about
so.
Yeah, you're getting at about reloading prices right there.
Yeah, I would not.
22 cents, whatever around.
I don't have a single 10 millimeter I would sell. Period.
Yeah.
Well,
real quick,
Clover Tech,
Chase out there. Chase Tom says, new here. Watch you guys a few times. I'd like to hop in the chat if my service gets better. Well, welcome to the chat and all of that. So yeah, hope we don't. Like I said, we're gonna try to make you smarter. Honestly, we're just trying to make you any dumber. So welcome to the dark side. But
there's some.
Yeah.
But to your thing, Mike.
Uh-huh.
There are, because a lot of people think that about 10, and don't get me wrong, different areas, I get it. Ammo prices can fluctuate or whatever, right? Same way as gun prices fluctuate. But there's a lot of people out there that think the same way that you was talking about with 10 millimeter, like, oh, the ammo's too expensive, blah, blah, blah. So I would be looking into the secondary market on it if I was looking for one, because there are some people out there that may be looking to offload their 10 millimeter for a 9, or what I'm saying, flip it and get something else, and you might find a really good deal on something.
Just don't buy a 1076 with one mag.
This is true.
Those mags will eat you alive.
Don't buy
what? $100 a piece or something like that.
Yeah, I gave $100 plus shipping per mag.
Bend over and grab those ankles, boy.
Well, I already paid for my
now, Wood says, still think the 10 millimeter should be called the CM because math. That's fair. So
I may have a 10 millimeter to sell if TriStar doesn't get it fixed.
There you go. Let's talk a little bit now about we talked earlier about where we started buying guns. Let's kind of where we've evolved to over the years. And I'm going to start with Chicago, Mike. I don't know how long. Like I said, I don't know how long you've been buying guns, but you got lucky finding that Canic as your first gun. But as you're buying more guns, do you see yourself evolving as to why you're buying guns? Are you buying them now because you want to collect, or because it's a good deal, or are you still kind of like, hey, I'm buying this gun for concealed carry or for competition or whatever? Where are you at right now, and why you're buying guns most of the time?
Basically, like for competition and learning more about them. I recently just purchased a bolt action rifle, and I'm looking to do a review on my channel. But I got this.
Caliber,
I have other.
You remember?
308 and 7.62 by 51. At first, at first, I wanted the 6.5 Creamer, but I have not been seeing the ammo out in Chicago or Indiana like that.
6.5 is tough everywhere, my brother. It is tough everywhere.
Yeah, I've seen like 1 or 2 boxes, but like for like $60. I'm just like, oh Jesus.
Yeah,
that's gas. That's one thing of gas.
Unfortunately, that's kind of what I shoot my long range competition with, and it was going there for a while, about $250 a round, and that's why I started to going to start reloading for it. But going for $250 a round for 6.5 Cree, where it used to be about 50 cents at one point, a few years back. But anyways, Snob, I'm going to talk to you, and now, like when you're buying a gun, I know that you're more into now buying like collection series of guns and all that, but like when you really think about buying a gun, are you just buying it because you like the looks of it, or it's going to fit a series, or a specific reason, or are you being a lot more picky now than you were back in the day?
No, there's no rhyme or reason. I just buy whatever, especially if it's cheap. No. I mean,
Right.
I do like to try to buy every third gen Smith I can find at a decent price,
Right.
but those are impossible to find now. I really
Yeah.
prefer just to
And
buy
if you
guns
do, they're
from somebody
gonna
that's hurting for
premium
money.
now. Yeah. Bedazzled high point. If you can find yourself at a bedazzled high point, why wouldn't you buy it, right?
Oh Jesus.
Just saying. Oh, you should see Snob's high point, bro. Snob's got maybe the best looking high point on the
Except
planet.
for the Strew script out. For some reason, you can't drill and tap ZMAX.
You used to have a 45 RMR on it too, but that's.
What's up? What is up with you guys with these high points, man?
I know you just live in Illinois, so you don't understand the quality of the high point.
What they got to do with me living in Illinois, man?
Because you can't have them in Illinois. Melting points.
Melting point.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah, the metal they use doesn't pass the restrictions of Illinois' melting point. I think it's like 10 degrees below or something like that. It's pretty close, but yeah, they don't use the greatest quality metal in their guns. We'll just go that route.
Well, I can agree with you. I can agree with that, Ghost.
But honestly, how many people are going to try? How many people are going to go like freaking mag dump them enough to like melt it down? Probably no one. Let's just be honest.
Gerson. Now let me stop.
No, I'm talking about a high point. Like no one's going to do enough mag dumps in a high point to like worry about the point. You know, who's going to throw it in an oven? I mean, let's just be honest. I
Cerakoted mine, and it went in the oven.
That's right. You did, didn't you? That's right. Interesting. What temperature? Oh Lord, let's take the call. Hold on here just a second. Armed Citizen Podcast. Who we got? Hey Chase, how you doing, my man? How you doing?
Hey Ghost, we can't hear it.
Yep, it's not coming.
Oh, you can't hear it? Hold on here. Let me go over here. That's weird. Go ahead and say something, Chase. They couldn't hear you, but see if they can hear you. Can you all hear that, guys?
No, just you.
Nope.
Really?
We need to test this off air or something.
Yeah.
It didn't work a couple weeks ago.
Let's see. Go ahead and say something, Chase.
We got mad echo.
It's doing the same thing it did a few weeks ago.
I don't know. That's so weird. All right, Chase. No one else can hear you. I'm the only one that can hear you. So go ahead and ask your question, and I can relay what you're saying. How about that?
This is great audio. Great audio.
So he's talking about 6.5 Creedmoor, and he's down in Alabama, and he said the 6.5 Creedmoor prices are pretty good. What are you able to get a box of 24 down there for? Okay. 25 or 30 bucks for that's not bad at all, actually. Yeah. Something's going on with my audio, bro. So I'm not really sure what's going on. But hey, let me call back next week, and I will try to figure out what the hell's going on. I don't know why all of a sudden it stopped working, but it is not working on the internet. So I'll call back next week, and we'll hook you up. We'll do that. We'll try to get you on right now. We got on about a few minutes left, so we're going to start getting out of here. But like I said, like next week, just when you show up next week, we'll try to get you on for sure about that. All right. Hey, Merry Christmas, Chase. Hey, man, appreciate you very much. All right. All right, that was probably the worst audio you've ever heard. But yeah, he was talking. I don't know why all of a sudden it worked for the last 3 years. All of a sudden, it's not coming through. So I don't know how to figure out some settings here. Maybe when we get off air, we can mess around for a second. But yeah, John, I'll go to you and say real quick, like so, now when you're buying. Yeah, go ahead.
So I've got Creedmoor right now. S&B hollow point boat tails for $26.49 and just some 156 grain soft points for $23.99. And I've got some Cellular and Bellat X Energy. It's a blue tip leadless round. It's a copper round, $30 a box.
That before. Okay.
So
nice.
We're getting into
crazy.
And we ship to Illinois.
Chicago, Mike, you said, is it still pretty high up there right now?
Yeah, I've seen like probably like I say like if I go to 5 to 6 gun stores in the Chicago area, I'll probably see like 1 or 2 boxes for like $60. Not no 25 or $30. Now I've seen 308 hunting ammo around that price, but not for no 6.5 creamer. Yeah, that's why I chose this the 308 because of the fact that
what's 308 running right now in Chicago area? What's 308 running?
Between 28 and $50.
All right, John, between 28 and 50 is what he's able to get it in Chicago for 308. What do you guys got? So are you able to get ammo shipped to you in Chicago?
Well, there are some websites that can do that, but we will have to email.
You need to see John. So John works with True Shot Gun Club out in Arizona. They are able to ship. They are True Shot Gun Club. They are able to ship to Illinois, I believe, aren't you, John?
Yeah, I can ship to Illinois. I just need a FOID card.
See, that's why I'm afraid. I've never done that before.
Okay.
All you gotta do is attach your FOID card to the order or email it over to our compliance officer, and we can get it shipped out. It's really simple, and we don't disclose that information to anybody. It goes in, we get it, we delete it. It's just as simple as that. So right now, 308.
And you're gonna be able to beat any prices you're getting there locally. I guarantee it.
So 308 right now for GGG 147 grain is $14.80 a box. I've got some.
Oh man!
I've got PMC bronze for $16.99 a box, and that's just in 308. Now, if we're talking 7.62 by 51, come on, if my phone would work with me today.
Well, probably a little bit more, but not over the top more.
You got an Instagram, right?
Yeah, it's just TrueShot_gun_club. You can find us there or on our website.
Well, you're on your phone. I'm on my phone too as well. So if you can go on my Instagram and follow me, and then send me all, DM me all the info. Yeah, I'm interested now. You got me pulling the trigger.
No, I'm telling you, you'll be happy with him, and plus, John's like a real person. Like he's not just some website out there that you don't know. Like he's around. So. And Big Kid, you throwing your damn links out there. If he's going to use any link, he's going to use my link, damn it. Don't throw your damn codes out there trying to make money off my shit. I'm just saying.
So Steve asked for some 10 millimeter. It's double the price for you, bud. We've had this.
He said put on his IOU, so he doesn't care. He doesn't care.
I bet it is.
So for 7.62 by 51, I've got some PMC X-Tac for $16.87 a box. I've got some cellular subs. So people looking for subsonic 200 grain 7.62 by 51, $22.99 a box. I've got some linked stuff, the 500 round ammo can link for $530. I got some ZSR for $14.40, and then
we got me sweating over here.
We also ship big cases as well. So anybody looking for their ammo, it's TrueShotGunClub.com.
TrueShotGunClub.com. Okay, that's easy to remember.
So Steve's out there now. He's saying it's a troll out there. I see the hash. See, if you were smart, Steve, you would have John set you up with a freaking code that the code actually is hashtags. So you go in there and people wouldn't think that you're actually giving a code, but that could actually be the code. It's 5 hashtags. That would be brilliant if you did that. Just saying.
Now is it true with 6.5 creamer that you can burn out the barrel even more?
Yes, you can. Well, I've seen it. I've seen high. It's got a lower round
You're
count.
gonna have to put a lot of rounds through it, though.
Velocity is what wears out a barrel.
Right. Okay.
Anything that gets up and around that 3,000 feet a second or more muzzle velocity, you really start putting some wear at that point.
So, working at a barrel manufacturer previously, the 308, our barrels would go about 10,000 rounds before you would start to see something. I think 6.5 Creedmoor was like 7,000 rounds before you would start to see like something. It's not a lot, but you start to see it. If you're shooting 7,000 rounds to 6.5 Creedmoor, you can afford a new barrel.
And not going to shoot enough to actually see that.
Shoot that much.
So there's a couple of things. First of all, the quality of the barrel makes a difference, right? Second of all, is there are products out there, such as the accuracy additive or whatever from, help me, Ghost, Marcus.
Marcus is Spartan. Mark Spartan.
Yeah, using that to treat your barrel and cure your barrel can save you. But if you're running upwards, something like a Screamer, right? Something like 22-250, for example, and you don't see a lot of people running thousands of rounds of 22-250. So typically with those people, a barrel pretty much lasts them a lifetime, right? So yeah, it's just mind your velocities. Good quality barrel, mind your velocities. Know what they're running, your muzzle velocities, and then keep that barrel good and treated. And then how much you shoot with a hot barrel, because things obviously expand when they get hot. So that makes a difference too. Cooler bore shots are going to be a little more forgiving.
Now, what's a good scope? Because I was looking into Vortex Crossfire.
That depends on what your budget is, what you're going to be using it for. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you going to be using it for competition and for hunting, for just plinking? I mean, like, I don't know what your budget is. So there's a lot of great scopes out there for different budget levels.
Well, I am a Vortex fan. I love Vortex. So I was looking. Well, let's see. I'm just going to be doing it for like long range, just for fun, really.
Okay, so you're not going to be using it for competition or anything like that. You're just going to use it because you want to go plink long range.
Maybe one day.
Yeah. No, I get it. Vortex, you can't go wrong. This is just my personal experience. I run an Athlon. Now it's a mid-level. I mean, it's not like the high-end Night Force and all that, but it's not like a $200 scope. It's probably like an $800-900 scope. That said, Athlon, but you have no idea. There's $5,000, $10,000 scopes. I'm just saying. No, but like an Athlon, a Bushnell, a Vortex, you can kind of get into that like $400-500 scope, $600 scope, that you're going to get good quality for that price. And there's several of them out there, but I say Athlon, I would say Bushnell, Vortex, they're all you can find some in those areas for a good price that aren't going to be like the high quality glass. They're not going to have all the bells and whistles, but they're going to a good solid scope that are going to do some good stuff for you. Now you can get up there and spend thousands and thousands of dollars if you want to. But if you're a Vortex guy and you're not looking to go anything crazy, with that rifle, Ryton makes some good stuff out there. The Zero Tech, I have not tried the Zero Tech stuff. I've heard a lot of good things about Zero Tech. Steve out there is saying Zero Tech. I have not using their stuff. I keep hearing good things about them, but like if you're comfortable and you're used to Vortex, what Vortex is, you can go to Vortex and find, their $400-500, probably 6 to 24 by 50 or something like that. I'm sure most companies are going to have that 6 to 24 by 50 scope, in there, and you can probably find one out there for $400 or $500, and that's going to get you by. I'm not going to say that you can't find stuff for cheaper than that. I'm saying you probably, even if it's just a plinker, you probably don't want to go much under $400, because at that point, you're looking at quality. It may not last you very long. That's just me. I'm going to leave the floor open. You guys, jump in there, kind of give some examples and some help to a budget level quality value optic for this thing.
Now I heard the Vortex Crossfire 2 is not a bad scope. I've seen that one for like
the Crossfires. I mean, yeah, no, not at all. I mean, you really Vortex is going to be good, but Bushnell makes some really quality stuff. Athlon, the Zero Tech people keep talking about. Ryton. There is a lot of good companies out there that you can find a decent scope for that $400 to $500 range. But what I was saying to you about Vortex is if you like Vortex, you have other Vortex products and you're used to Vortex, then yeah, that Crossfire optic probably isn't going to be that bad. But what I would suggest is go and just do your own research and look at some companies out there. There's a lot of companies out there that are making really decent products. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely. You don't have to spend $1,000 or $5,000 for a scope, but I probably wouldn't spend much under $400 or $500 either. It's just me.
Yeah. Now, the very first Vortex scope that I look into was the Venom, and that's the $700 scope. Yeah, I was like, ooh wee.
And the sad thing is that's still not an expensive scope. Like I said, man, there's stuff out there that can cost you $10,000 for a scope.
Yeah, I don't think I would go with a Crossfire 2 on the 308. Like, I have Crossfire 2s, they're pretty decent. I think now you got the Strike Eagle line too. I think they're making some of the scopes made for longer range. That's another good option you would have if you're wanting to stick with Vortex. And the Vipers are hard to beat too. But you're going to get into some money. You start getting up into the Razors and things like that.
Yeah, the Razors are going to be that $900 to $1,100 range, depending on where you find them.
Oh man.
Well, here's the thing. Like, and here's the thing. I mean, this is something of those things that if you buy $1,000 rifle, the old adage is you better spend at least that much on the optic.
That's what I was told. That's what I was told.
At least that.
Yeah, when I was looking into it, I was like, do I really want to spend over $1,000 for a pistol? No.
Yeah.
I would rather spend that on a rifle. Now again, I was looking into the bolt action rifle.
Mm-hmm.
I bought one just to get one, shoot it for fun, test it out, see how I like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. Then I was told that if I'm gonna spend over $1,000 on a rifle, then you got to spend over $1,000 for a scope. I was like, well,
that's what they say. Now, I think that is an adage that came down the line from years back when the quality of the quote unquote entry level or budget scopes aren't as what they are now. Today, a lot of those mid-level scopes are a lot better quality than they were 10 years ago. And so you almost had to go and buy that expensive scope. I'm not saying you shouldn't go buy it now. I'm just saying that the quality and what companies are able to do with their mid-level range scopes are much, much better than they were 10 years ago. Now, if you start talking about wanting to spend over that $1,000, then you're opening yourself up to the loopholes of the world. I mean, even Night Force has got some budget, quote unquote, budget stuff for them. It's well over $1,000. But when you start hitting, if you're willing to spend that $1,000, you'll be able to see a dramatic difference in between even the $500 scope versus those loopholes, Night Force, and all those US optics. Those things are expensive, but there's a reason why. Most of those are probably going to be for the competition guys. Big time hunters and all that are willing to do all that. Like some guys I know will have $25,000 into their rifle and optic and all that, their whole setup, $25,000 for their whole setup. And that's not uncommon. So, I mean, but there are options out there. I'm just saying there are a lot of options out there. Anybody else want to chime in on some help with Chicago, Mike, for the stuff?
I really like Tracked Optics. If you don't know who they are the people who were running the optics division of Nikon. And now they've started their own company. The only unfortunate thing about Tracked Optics, and they've been compared, and I've given it to people that people say it's Night Force quality glass and it's a great optic. The only problem is they are online only and they do not go through retailers. So their prices are really decent, but there's nowhere for you to
You got to buy them really from them. Yeah.
You got to buy from them.
I had never heard of them, and my Nikon scopes are some of my favorite scopes I ever owned until they went out of business. They were like my go-to budget-friendly scope.
Yeah. And now you got to go through Track. So
I didn't even know that. I thought they just quit and were done. And
yeah, I'd never heard of them. I had never heard of them. So I learned something too.
I'll make an intro to you guys at Shot. 5 Minute Shot. We'll go over to them and make an intro. They should be there. But they basically it's really good glass. Their cheapest one's like $400-$300, but they also do like the 30 millimeter tube, the 34 millimeter tubes.
Okay, so you're talking about like an LPVO almost.
No, they do
4 to 20.
They do an LPVO, but they do a 4 to 20. They do a 4 to, like we did a 4 to 15.
4 to 30 millimeter objective.
No, tube.
Oh, a 30 mil tube. Oh, okay. Yeah.
We took their 4 to 15 out for that long range class, and we're still able to see the target at 1500 and see it.
Really?
Yeah. So the glass is really good. I highly recommend them. The stuff is really good, but their stuff.
So how do you spell the names? Is it TRACT? Tract?
Yeah. Okay. TRACT. And it's literally the guys who ran Nikon scope division, and when that division got shut down by Nikon, they went over and started their own company. And they're kind of new to the game. Their stuff just from like the box. It's you know when you have a quality item when the box is really nice. The box, everything on presentation is really nice, and the glass is just super clear.
Tract optics here.
Well,
I'm going to share the screen real quick and maybe go.
They have a 2.5 to 10 that's really cheap.
Some really good information here. I appreciate y'all.
$400 for this 2.5.
Here for, bro. That's what we're here for. How much?
$400 for 2.5 to 10, and I like that range.
You hear me?
Yeah, we're gonna hear you.
Okay. All right. Let's into.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, there's going to be. I mean, like I said, I mean, and that's you see a $1,600 price tag. That's nothing, you know.
That's how much
What's
I paid. That's how much I paid for the scope. I mean, not the scope, the rifle.
Right. No, I hear you. Let's go down to see what they look like for their entry level. So a 2.5 to 10, 42. A 4 to 16, a 4 to 16.
Now that's kind of around my budget there.
Okay. They've got a 2.5 to 10 for $394. That's for rim fire. So that looks like their lowest one's going to be about $400. Now, let me ask you this: how far are you wanting to go out and shoot?
Like for my first time, I say 600 yards.
600 yards.
600 yards is a long shot. I'm just telling you.
Let's say you want to start out about 100, honestly. But I mean, what I'm saying is if the max that you're probably going to be able to get out to at the range is 500 to 600 yards, then it sounds crazy, but a 10 magnification can do that very easily. You don't have to go up to the 24 magnification. I'll shoot at 1,400 yards with, and mine goes up to 24 magnification, but I'll probably stay at about 18, even all the way out to almost a mile. I'll stay at about 18 magnification. So if you're only going out to about 600 yards, a 10 magnification max will absolutely work for you. So you don't have to go and spend more money on a 24 mag. if you don't want to. Now, I think but if you're looking at 500 yards, a 2.5 to 10, well, you'll be able to very easily be able to see it at 500 yards with a 10 magnification scope. So, that cheapest one that Tract had was, what did it say, Snob? 394, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I mean, I'll take John's word that, even their lower end as far as price wise is still probably going to be pretty damn good. That might be something to look at. And you can always, get that until you outgrow that and then save your money to go buy that $1,000 scope or whatever at a later time,
Yeah.
Well, I've got a few Nikons, and I thought they were great for the money. They were great scopes. You're talking $400.
Yeah, see, I'm a big fan of Athlon and Bushnell. I've never had any problem with Bushnell stuff. I run Bushnell scopes, LPVOs, red dots. I love Bushnell. And you can get a Bushnell for about the same price. Nikon, you probably, I tell you what, there might be a Nikon you maybe get on the aftermarket that probably pretty good price. And Snob, do you have any models that might, if he could find one maybe used or something he should look at?
Mine's like an M308 or something, or a P308. I don't remember whichever one was I don't remember. And then I don't know what.
But you might be able to find a Nikon, or you might even be able to find some of these Vortexes or something in the used market on some of these forums or on eBay. That you might be able to get for a pretty good price. I mean, don't be afraid to buy something that's used, as long as you be able to verify that it's pretty good, or they give you some kind of a warranty, or at least give you maybe a 30-day money back guarantee type thing. If you're able to find a used scope that might be a $1,000 scope that you can get for $500, that might be worth trying.
So what you're saying is that your top, what, 2 or 3 scopes would be Bushnell.
For me, for that, like that $400 or $500, $600 range, I like personally. This is me personally. I'm gonna go through the room, and they can all give you theirs. I'd probably start writing some of these down. Bushnell, Athlon, Vortex. People are there talking Zerotech. I have not worked with Zerotech. But I'm a big fan of Swamp Fox. Has some decent stuff out there as well. But Athlon and Bushnell is probably my all-time go-to, because I've been using Bushnell forever, and I love Bushnell quality stuff. Your golf products and everything that I've used in my life, I've never had a bad product from Bushnell. Chris, let's kind of go with you for that let's say that average of $500 scope. So that Chicago Mike can maybe start writing down some things. I'm gonna go through the room. What do you think for that $500? What are some brands that you like?
I've got a Vortex Viper. I believe it's a 6x20 on my 308. It's a pretty decent piece of glass. You're probably $450 range, $500 range there. But man, I love my Athlon for long range shooting.
Yeah. I run an Athlon on my competition rifle. So I mean, now this is not the $500 one. That's not the $500 one, but they have a $500 one that's pretty salty. It's pretty good,
I think the one I got, I paid $7 for, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact model on that one. I'd have to look.
Yeah.
Athlon glass is hard to beat. For the
Athlon glass is pretty good. It is really, really good for sure. Clove, I know that you've got through some of your competition and all that stuff over the lifetime. I know that you've got a couple brands that you're very fond of that aren't going to break the bank either.
SWFA comes to mind. S is in Sam, W is in William, F is in Frank, A is in Arthur. SWFA. Burris. I don't think anybody's mentioned Burris yet.
Burris is not bad. Yeah.
And then I'll tell you, the one I've got on my 308, my Savage 308, that is, I didn't know about it at first, but, I'm not an optics snob. So, I mean, I run a lot of cheaper stuff, but this is the higher end of their cheaper stuff. And that's Sightmark. Now, I'm not stopping there, because Sightmark does make some cheap stuff.
They do, but they do have some good stuff actually.
I've got one That's the Sight Mark benchmark that at the time retail on it was about 500, and it's always been absolutely phenomenal. Now, I think they've changed the model name on those, and like I said, they're in the they're a Sight Mark that's in the $500 range, right? So we're talking top end of Sight Mark, but and I think it's the Presidio, maybe.
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
I can't remember, but if you're looking at Sight Mark and you graduate up to the top tier stuff, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yep. John, Snob, either one of you have that $500 kind of company that is always pretty solid, so you can write some names down?
Bushnell's been good to me. What is the company? There was some scopes. I don't know if Firefield's still around, but there were some scopes from Firefield that weren't bad.
I mean, I hadn't seen Firefield in a while. I don't even know if they're around still.
I think they may have gone under. Bushnell, Burris, Vortex, Track. I really do like the Tracked optics.
I'm actually interested. I might look into a Tracked. It looks interesting.
Firefield is under Sight Mark, and I don't remember.
Oh, okay. That's
what
probably why
their parent company, right? Sight Mark, Pulsar,
Pulsar. Yeah.
There you go.
And then
I didn't realize that I didn't realize they were part of it. Now, have they always been part of that?
No.
I don't remember that.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
And then the last one would probably be like Swamp Fox, but I've had some. I like their dots, and Sean Heron swears by their long range stuff. Their LPVOs just don't work for me.
Really? I love the LPVO. I haven't used their long range stuff. A lot of people do. They like them. I've got a couple of their LPVOs and I like them. But everyone's different. Do you not like the red, or what do you not like?
No, my eye doesn't work with them. We try. I've gotten 2 of them in the Arrowhead, and I'm not going to say like Swamp Fox makes good stuff. My eye doesn't work with it. I keep getting fish eye when I look through it, and it keeps looking weird. So I called Swamp Fox. They sent me another one. I'm like, I think it's me. I don't think it's your guys' stuff. And they're like, bring it when we see you next, and we'll figure it out then. So but Swamp Fox, their stuff has been great. So
have you tried changing your eye?
I tried. I also tried to factory reset, smacking the back of the head. That didn't work either.
Mandatory carry, thank you very much. $10 super chat. Appreciate you, brother. He says, keep fighting. I'll call the boomer. There you go. Mike's having some connection issues, so he's going to drop out.
One scope I've got, it's pretty much their bottom of the line, but the Leupold, I think it's a Freedom series or something like that. It's just a 4-12, I think.
The Leupold?
I've got a hunting rifle. And it's
they do have lower end, and it's still probably pretty good. But
it's still a really good scope. It's just,
I don't have it on me right now. Just give me a few minutes.
Did anybody else see the comment that Leupold bought, or Sig bought Leupold factory equipment? Did anybody else see that?
I think I saw some. They bought all of the equipment. Yeah, I don't know if that means that they're going to start making them now or what.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Real quick, we got to get out of here. I got to go to the store. But Sam of Anarchy says, speaking of competition guns, anyone run a Glock 17 or 34's competition? An IDPA, I can't speak for USPSA. An IDPA a few years back, the Glock 34 was a very, very popular gun that were used. Not so much the 17s. The 34 was a very popular gun, IDPA. Now, Chris will be able to kind of talk to you more a little about USPSA, but an IDPA, the 34 at one time was a very popular gun.
I love the Glock 34. Put a Timney trigger in that thing. 34 is a tack driver.
Yeah.
So, I think it makes a great USPSA gun.
Yeah. We've been going 2 hours and 15 minutes. Folks, you are not getting your money back, but thanks for the few people that are still out there. I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Hanukkah to those that are celebrating the Hanukkah side. Merry Christmas. Hope everybody has a very safe, especially with the cold weather and some of the weather with snow and ice and all that coming. Please stay safe and all of that. I want to go through the room real quick, give everybody a few seconds. Chris, I'm going to start with you. Tell people where they can find you and what kind of and Kwanzaa, sure. Out there doing Kwanzaa. Chris, tell me how many people they can find you and what projects you have coming on. Any podcasts or anything coming up lately?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I love doing this.
Absolutely. I'm sorry I got to cut it short, but I do need to get to the store before weather gets bad tonight.
Oh, no,
so
you're good.
Yeah.
You can find me here on YouTube at Chris from the 740 and Instagram. And tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, I'll be having the Wednesday night live chat. And thank you again, Ghost.
100%. Merry Christmas, brother. We'll hopefully see you next week. Next week, guys, we start basically having the SHOT Show chat. So if you're not interested in listening to SHOT Show chats, then for the next few weeks, you might want to stay away. Obviously, we're not going to talk all SHOT Show, but we do start talking the SHOT Show stuff starting next week. So, which I can talk SHOT Show year round. Snob, excuse me. If you were going to do anything, where could they find you, and what might you be doing?
I don't know. It's supposed to turn really ridiculously cold here,
Yeah.
so I'm probably not doing anything, to be honest.
Did you see Thursday? So we live a few hours from each other, but we're on the same latitude, so we get a lot of the same weather. Thursday, our high is 43, and that's at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it gets down to -1. How are you having about the same?
Yeah, we're supposed to. Our high's 20 on Thursday at midnight, and it's
right. Exactly. Yeah.
By noon, it's going to be 0 with wind chills of -15 to 20. So. Yep. Absolutely. So yeah, fun. Yay. I just want to tell everybody Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, or wait, I'll see you before New Year's probably, but Merry Christmas and
say hi to Stacy. Hope keep her happy.
Yeah, good luck on that. She's
good luck with that. Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, I understand. John, True Shot Gun Club. I know people. TrueShotGunClub.com, but tell people what you guys are doing. I know you guys are really busy on the media side right now as well.
Yeah, I've got a couple videos dropping. I've got a release for a new product coming here real soon, and a couple other, kind of educational things. Like I said, you can find us at TrueShotGunClub.com, on YouTube at True Shot Gun Club, and if you want to follow me, just go to Instagram, look up John Fontaine, and you can follow me there if you're really interested in seeing what my life is up to.
You need to put Soulless Ginger Bastard as your handle. Just saying.
I tried that once, and then it said it was taken by this guy named Chris. So
Chris Dover or something. Yeah, he's a tool. knowing Clover, he probably copyrighted.
I'll sell that to you.
I guarantee he's got the website too. The domain name.
Traded for some 10mm ammo, maybe.
No shit.
Whoa.
Thanks for coming on, John. Hopefully we'll see you next week. Merry Christmas to you. Hope you guys travel to Cleveland. Don't get stuck in the crazy ass snow up there. Good luck with that. I know. Clove, Merry Christmas, my friend. If you guys haven't checked it out, he dropped the greatest AR-15 the worst AR-15 video ever. Tell people where they can find you and what kind of projects you have coming up.
Obviously, clovertech.com. I say go check that out. The worst one ever. Just having a little fun here toward the end of the year. And I say happy, merry, whatever. It's kind of what I've been saying. It's like, I don't care what you celebrate. Just, kick back, spend some time with friends and family, and, enjoy the holiday season, no matter how you enjoy it. Right.
Absolutely. Yep. You have Saturday night. You've got a little Christmas special coming up. Is that right?
Yeah, we'll do
maybe you typically do, I should say.
Yeah, we usually do the Halloween. We do the pumpkin pop and Edgar Allan Poe, and usually Christmas Eve or around there sometime. We do the Jingle Bell pop and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So.
And sometimes Saturday night as well. I don't know when it'll probably be released. We'll have the Marine version of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. It's kind of a funny one. It's a good one, but we'll do on that. So yeah, check out Chris with the 740, the Gun Snob, Clover Tack. Check out TrueShotGunClub.com. Once again, happy Hanukkah, happy Merry Kwanzaa, whatever. Happy Festivus, Merry Christmas, anything and everything that you guys are celebrating. More importantly, enjoy your family and friends. Be safe. Remember, there are a lot of our troops are downrange that couldn't be home for the holidays. Please keep them in your minds as well. And we'll see you soon, guys. Thank you so much. Semper Fi.